So I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, so Beauty and the Beast. And don't it kind of sound like a human and a dog? Like a dog and its owner? You know, if you really think about it, why do we keep making movies and stuff about Beauty and the Beast? Like Beauty and an animal, a human and an animal, you know, falling in love and whatnot, you know. And then when I start to think about it, it's more so of, you know how you say befriend your enemy, become friends with your enemy. Keep your friends closer, but your enemies closer. Because you know, if you did not make that dog your pet, that dog will turn on you and you will feel some type of way. You know that that dog can honestly attack you, you know, but you don't want that to happen. So you make your dog your friend so that that doesn't happen. But at the end of the day, why the heck are we making books and stories about humans falling in love with an animal? Why are we doing this? Like, are you that curious? Do you really want to know what comes out of that? What spawns out of that? I don't. That's like saying you would kiss a dog. That's like saying you would kiss a wolf. That's like saying you would be intimate with these creatures. I don't understand where that type of imagination comes from. Like, ew. I couldn't. Like, what? But yeah. That was what I needed to talk about just for the moment. Y'all tell me what y'all think, because them type of books and them type of movies just make me question you as a person. Like, why? Anyways, talk to y'all next time. Bye. I have her made chili with sausage. I actually thought this chili was turkey. Turns out, actually thought this sausage was turkey. Turns out it's turkey. It's sausage. So, it's not gonna stop me. We just gonna get into it. You know, chili is everything that you make it up to be. Trust and believe, I saw worse. So, yeah, let's get into it.
We're making a cake in a different way. I'm not judging. I'm gonna trust the process, Sharon. Even though right now.
Okay.
Chocolate and rice.
I'm gonna add olives. I'm gonna keep this on warm. And it's cooking. I meant for this to be hamburger or turkey. I'm gonna try it. Got the canned turkey canned chili with beans. So you just add any type of mix that you want to throw in there. Don't have the cheese though. I keep forgetting the cheese.
For the love of everything, oh my god, surely. We wouldn't even put that much in the cake. We keep going. To the what? To the goddamn rather than bread and everything. Because I'm not really a great cook, so is it a Victoria rice sponge cake? But what are the tomatoes for? Are they to like give it a little bit of savoury flavour? I don't even know if it's going to be savoury, surely. At least there's no more sugar that's going in because it's sweet enough, you know. Oh my god, the sugar's melting enough. It looks like the bottom of a bowl. You know when you have your Rice Krispies and you've just got the sugar in it? No more sugar! Love everything, Sharon. There's a part of me that wants to try it. It's like, you know the Elf film with the pasta in it? I've tried that, I didn't like it. Okay, well, this looks lovely. It's so lovely.
had some marinated red peppers. This was green olives. If y'all don't know or y'all have no experience with green olives, these peppers is really good though. They're sweet. So we're gonna add some of those in here. Not too many, but only some. Because when we eat, we're not really aiming for the peppers. We're eating around the peppers. The peppers just make the flavor. Okay, so that should be enough. Bellevue olives. Okay, so that is what I'm having. I got my hot sauce almost gone. We still got a little bit in here though. Sour cream and some salsa. Well, not salsa. I just got confused. Okay, but yeah, this is my my dinner, y'all, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye. And I did get the baking soda. It said to add that to that one leaf, spray it on that one leaf of my plant, so that the disease would kind of deteriorate, I guess. But yeah, I got that. But guess what? I ain't got no spray bottle, so we just gonna have to hold off, you know. And you know, sometimes life ain't meant to live longer than it should be. So if it's dying, I think I'm gonna let it die and rest in peace. But doing too much just to prolong the situation, I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. You ever find yourself reverting to that mindset of, what am I doing this for? You know, let's say you want to curl your hair or you want to do something to your hair. This can lead to depression. The fact that you're questioning yourself on whether you want to look good for yourself or look good for the mood or just look good sitting in your house without going nowhere. You have to break out of that mindset of looking good for someone else, because this will only, they will, okay, so this leads to what I'm going to say, but this will make you feel down about doing anything for yourself. Just do it for you, regardless if anyone's there to see you, regardless if anyone is there to salute you or applaud you. Oh my gosh, like, you are looking so good today. You know, the more you receive these compliments, the more you resist those compliments, you know, because you know deep down inside, the only compliment you want is from yourself. So, I wanted to talk about, if you allow another person to become your happiness, your happy place. You know, I'm only doing this for some comments, a comment from the specific person. You know, then eventually that person you're going to keep waiting around for, you know, until that time comes around, and then boom, that's your happiness. It's nothing wrong with support. But support from one specific person, you're only expecting support from one person, and that one person begins to control. You give that person power over the situation. You know, so let's say this person, every time I hear from this one specific person, let's say you haven't got a text message all day, you haven't got a call all day, and this one person is the only person that just makes you smile because you've been waiting to hear from that person. Become independent from that situation, from smile without that person, having that person to put that smile on your face, because the more you want that person to put a smile on your face, the more you want that person to come to you, that person won't. And we all know the reason. It's the fact that I know deep down inside that hearing from this one specific person triumphs everything, triumphs all of the other messages that I receive for that same message. Maybe, like I said, you're looking for that letter. You're getting all these letters in that mailbox, and you know, oh yeah, these letters is kind of just, you know, they making you feel a certain way. They making you feel a little bit good about the day. But that one specific person that sends you that letter that you've been waiting for from that one specific person, you're like, oh my gosh, now the sun is shining, you know, and this is a case of withdrawal. Remember we was in that post-breakup withdrawal situation? Yeah, it's still going on. There was a time me and my mom was in the car and I was telling her, so we was talking about relationships and marriage and this and that. I was like, well, yeah. Well, we was talking about my ex and I was like, yeah, I'm over that, you know. That's something I gotta, well, I was talking about how, I was like, yeah, I was like, well, I'm the type of woman where I don't have to, I'm the type of woman where I want my man a certain way. You know, he wouldn't be able to do what he do with another woman because I'm a whole different woman. Because she was like, well, do he do this? Was he like that with you? I was like, no. What makes you ask that question? Like, because me and her, we already know how we is when it comes to men. Like, she knows me when it comes to men, and usually that wouldn't be a question for her. She'd be like, oh yeah, I know he wasn't like that with you, period point blank, because you know me. So when she questioned it, I'm like, I kind of got confused myself. So I told her, I was like, no, you know, if you know me, I wasn't gonna let that slide. But I was like, I want this type of person. I want this type of man in my life. This man got to be this way specifically. Ain't gonna be none of this. Ain't gonna be none of that. And I was like, and then when I was like, well, that was me back then. That's not me now. That's when I questioned myself about relationships again. That's when it came back up about the type of person that I want. Came back up in that moment. And I'm just like, that was a trigger for me. And this is why I say, I feel like it's time for you to get comfortable with isolating yourself away from these type of situations. And even if no, it's time to say no, because that's another problem that I thought that I actually did overcome, but I didn't. You have to get comfortable with saying no. And I learned that in another relationship that I had previously, not a friendship that I had previously, that I wasn't comfortable saying no. They put me in a position where I just felt like I couldn't say no. And this is another boundary in my life that I have to work on as well. So yeah, I just want to throw that in there. Let's continue on topic. It's just, you don't really expect it, but it's just there. It's like that feeling is there. That person makes you feel good. You know, when that message come through, you're like, oh my gosh, like all you received, all these other messages, but just that one message, you know, it just makes you feel okay, you know, and I have to get away from this feeling. You know, I have to, because some stuff can be the reason, you know, and as happy as you are, as happy as you feel you are, and I won't even say you think you are, because obviously what you're going through and what your experience is, it makes you feel like you're happy. So don't doubt if you're happy. It's just, you received other happy moments. You receive other happy moments that's getting in the way of this new feeling of happiness. There are new feelings of happiness to discover, and that is being presented to you, being brought to your attention, that is being brought out to the light. You know, there's this happiness, but you've come accustomed to this happiness. And now you have to break away from this happiness to receive this happiness. But you don't want to let go of this happiness, knowing that this happiness stops this happiness. You know, if it makes sense to you, it makes sense to me, because I'm really discovering it's like, wow, there's different levels of happiness. You know, there is happiness. There's different happiness. You know, we always thought it's one feeling of happiness. No, there's happiness in the midst of happiness. But you have to be in the receiving end to get that happiness, to retain that happiness, you know. And you have to let go of the old happiness that you were raised and conditioned that is the only happiness, because it's not. A lot of people won't understand this happiness, and they're looking at this happiness like, this is depression. That's what they're saying. You know, this happiness is depression, because they don't understand. They understand. They know all the signs and the symptoms, because this is what their doctor told them. This is what they've been around and learning about. They're like, oh yeah, this is signs of depression, but it may not be that. This is a signs of sadness. This is a signs of, they're looking at all of these signs, but those signs, you can't, in the midst of the signs, it's just like these signs are signs that we were taught, you know,
These signs are man-made signs, man-created signs, signs that came from an opinion, that manifested from an opinion at a certain time, at a certain era. Signs are changing. Just because you hear that, that train outside honking his horn don't mean you have to stop what you're doing right then and there, just like a parked car. Metaphor. But that train out there honking his horn could be telling you to listen. It can be the same sign, but for a different reason. Regardless of what the sign is, they're both putting you in a position of stopping. That green light mean go, but in another country, that green light may mean slow down. You never know. Because these signs are manifestations of man-made teachings, but God's signs are completely different of those other signs. Happiness is not worldly happiness. It's heavenly happiness. Let me say that again. Let me speak that again. Because y'all need to catch that. Worldly happiness is not heavenly happiness. Worldly signs are not heavenly signs. There's a difference. So whatever you're going through, don't be so quick to assume, oh yeah, this is that. Don't be so quick to assume. Take time to sit and ponder and receive the message. And if you don't understand the message, then meditate and ask God and pray and ask God, what does this mean? Because what I've grown to believe, what you've grown to believe, what you were raised to know is interfering with God's plans for you. So again, my message, my question, like I said, I'm still being worked on from relationship withdrawal, post-breakup withdrawal, relationship, post-breakup withdrawal. Well, see, I keep trying to turn the tables on myself. But yeah, post-breakup withdrawal. We all get to that point where we feel like we've broken out of our old ways. We made it past. We feel like everything is so sweet and dandy. In the midst of that pureness, in the midst of that change, there's transition. So now that you're transitioning, that's a whole different, ballgame. Now we really got to see if you are completely cleansed from that systematic way of thinking. And if you're not, that's okay. You just got a lot of work to do. You just got some more work to do, And it's going to be a lot of time. And yeah, it's going to take a lot of time. A lot more time, depending on how much of a mess you made in that relationship that you were in. You made a lot of mess in that relationship, it's going to take a lot of time to cleanse you, to get you cleaned up, all cleaned up. So yeah, don't give up on yourself. And whatever you're experiencing, it's a new light, it's a new teaching, it's a new lesson. And you have to listen, and you have to receive, and you have to sit down, take time, and ponder. Because just because you knew what you knew, just because you was raised to believe what you believe, or you aced that test back then, don't mean you won't ace that test now. Because it's a whole different time, it's a whole different lesson, it's a whole different teaching, and you are getting a new test. So a new experience, a different experience. And this time it doesn't require. You can't let's put it like this. You can't use that pencil that you used on that test before, because with that pencil you can erase any mistake you made. Back then on those tests you can do that. Now it's a different time. On this test you can only use pens, so whatever you make a mistake on is going to be seen. This time you can't use a pencil, you have to use a pen. And I think that's as close as I'm going to get to trying to explain what I'm really trying to say. It's a new time, it's a new way, and I have to go finish up these grilled cheese. I already burnt one side talking too much. So now I gotta start all over again. See? Lesson. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share, tone free, whatever you care. What? I just finished watching this movie. It was about this woman who had schizophrenia, and she's been in and out of the hospital since she was in her 20s. And she finally got diagnosed when she was 43. It really touched my heart because I
I was just looking at, you know, she now, like, it touched my heart because she was looking at the people that was once in her position and she helped them. She knew exactly what they needed. And she got a chance to be that person, you know, to have that experience and see the situation for what it was, because it was a lot of transparency there. Her daughter feared her though. Like, she only got her on the weekends. But her daughter was scared of her illness, that she'll get it, and it just, you know, just made me feel some type of way, because it just took me back to, you know, the days when I was in the hospital and I was hospitalized, and um, I just feel like for every helping hand in this world is a sacrifice that's being made. And the best way you can actually deal with anything that you're going through is to just deal with it alone and try to have some type of support, you know, being that, you know, support as in home, you know, have a home to kind of just work through whatever you're going through. Never give up on yourself. Um, Oftentimes we get put in a situation where we do have to be in a psych ward, and we do have to, you know, have all of these medications just to put us down. And, but at the same time, you have to think about it, you know, what's really happening on the outside of the situation. It's a cold, cold feeling. Before, she was like saying she heard these voices, and it wasn't until later on in the movie where they actually showed that she was hearing a voice. Like, you actually heard the voice coming through the radio that she'd been hearing the whole time, and it was a man's voice. I'm like, wow, you know, something was actually haunting her. Um, what she went through was called paranoid schizophrenia. But like I said, my body knows the experience of everything that she had gone through. And I was just cuddling myself, because those are the coldest times, you know, when you're going through it alone and no one actually knows, and you're just seeing everybody living their life while at the same time the life you're living doesn't make sense to them, and you're being forced to believe that it doesn't make sense to you. Um, yeah, I've been seeing some videos being made about people and their psych ward experiences. It wasn't um, it wasn't so bad for me. My sister would always come in here and paint my nails blue, and I would sit in group. We would have this group, these group meetings or these group gatherings where we would go in and we would paint stuff and we would be creative. The food was good. Um, we made our selection of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But then eventually it got to a point where that wasn't enough for me. And I was getting up before bedtime and I needed me a snack, you know. So sometimes we could go to like the little there was like a little cabinet place, and it was near the kitchen, and you can go in and get you like a juice and some chips for nighttime. There was Bibles in the hallway, and I would find myself going towards the Bible, but I would never actually sit down and read it, because it was the reason I was there. But the conversation, the topic always intrigued me, you know, and eventually I had to learn how to have a boundary, because eventually, you know, it was a trigger for me. Um, but my experience wasn't bad at all. It was just very mysterious. You know, when I first got in there, I was telling my family how when I first got in there was this guy, and he was down in like the lobby area, and I was down by the door where I first came in, and he was just telling me to come here, like he was doing this little dance or something. Most people will find it strange. I didn't. I was curious at that time. I didn't go down there though. I don't think I went down there. I don't remember if I went down there at all. It was around the time when I first got in there. But later on, when I got out, I started seeing that guy in different places, and I wondered if it was the same guy. And I got out of the psych ward. It was like a new experience for me. It's like being trapped for so long, and then you finally come out, and it's like the world is new. It's like everybody is not the same anymore. It's like the world went on without you, you know. It's like being in a cocoon for so long, and then you're finally out, and you're like, wow, life has really gone on without me, And that's how I felt. And I was seeing, when I asked my sister, I wanted to see if she had the same experience, but she said a lot has changed, and it's been a long time since I've been here, so I can't go through the same thing that I'm going through now and then go to the psych ward and expect it to be different. That's the thing about our experiences, that the world goes on, people evolve, people change, and wherever you are, you just got to keep holding on and do what you have to do, because that one experience that you had won't happen again. I really felt her though when she said that, she's finally saying she finally feels like she's her, since she was 24 or 26 and she was 43, and she was like, my whole life has been taken away from me, and now I'm right here. I'm where I was back then, but I can't accept it. I can't accept this, because what is she to do now? The world has gone on, and she's finally there, but at the same time, what is there to look forward to now? She was in school when she first lost her mind. She was in school and she was doing good, but then one day her mind was gone. And I think it was 26, and that's when her whole world crumbled. She can't stop hearing the voices, and once she finally came out of it, her child was afraid of her. Her child wanted nothing to do with her. She was there, but you can always see the fear in her eyes. She was traumatized by her mom. And that just makes me think, it's not all about me. Although I was traumatized, and it was a traumatizing experience for me, they were traumatized too. All of the people that was there that seen and went through that same experience as you. You were traumatized, but they were traumatized by you. I wonder if my daughter feel that way about me. Because even when she's here, it's like there's a void. There's an elephant in the room. And maybe I'm a part of her trauma. A huge part. And you wouldn't even know that she is traumatized or anything, but when you have this type of experience, you have to be considerate of the fact that your children went through that with you, the experience with you. They were there with you, and they're carrying just as much as trauma as you did. And when they pull away, or they act a certain way, just like she told her mom, I don't want to live with you, I want to stay with grandma, I want to be with grandma. She couldn't bear the thought. She couldn't stomach the thought of being with her mom because of what her mom had gone through. And she was afraid of the illness. She said one day, she was like, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to ever get sick. And we scare our children with our experiences. It's really, really sad, This world isn't fair. It just isn't.
I can't even look at a helping hand like a helping hand anymore. You know, trust is gone. And that's just how easily trust can be broken. Even when you don't mean to break it. You don't mean to break this trust. Or the trust that you have. It's just the experience. The experience in itself speaks louder than you can ever speak for yourself. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to y'all next time. Like, comment, subscribe, be notified. Shut your own free will to show you care. Yeah. So I finally opened up my air fryer. And I'm going to go ahead and get the chicken ready. But when I tell y'all, this air fryer is so small on the inside, like I'm not even gonna be able to fit all of my chicken inside of here. So it's just like, what am I to do with the rest? Like, can I stuff them all in there? Is my question. I have no idea, but we're about to see. So I got my Old Bay seasoning. And I'm just going to go ahead and season my chicken up. You know, give that a good shake. I don't put too many different seasonings in there. It'll be that and a little bit of salt. But that Old Bay just does me right every time. So, yeah.
What are you guys doing here?
I can also do some chicken seasoning as well.
So what do we do now?
I'm going to toss some of that on there.
Okay.
So most likely I'm going to have to do a little bit at a time, I guess. And I'm fine with that. So there is a timer on this air fryer. Yes, this is the timer, and then this is the heating. So we're going to turn that up to 350. We're going to open this. Promise not to laugh. Got them all in there. Got them all in there. Okay, so yeah, I did not think they were all going to fit in there. But I guess they did. So we're going to stick them in there, and we're going to let that cook. Oh my gosh, thank you for my Christmas gift. You know who you are. So yeah, we're gonna turn the timer to, I usually cook them on both sides. I would say 15 to 20 minutes. So in between 15 to 20 minutes. But since I don't have to cook them on both sides because this is an air fryer and it's not frying in the grease, I can go ahead and turn that all the way up to about 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes. So that's how long we're gonna cook these bad boys, and I'll see y'all next time. So yeah, bye. So it does tell you some of the meals that you can make on here. Some chicken wings, and they also have the ingredients as well. 5 spiced meatballs, fried plantains, burgers, raviolis,
I should open, please.
fried chicken thighs, blueberry muffin, crab cakes, okra, curry fried okra, grilled cheese, coconut shrimp, pork and shiitake dumplings. I don't know how you make that though. I guess you just make the ferment cold water. Combine the ground pork, soy, chives, egg, ginger in a bowl and mix by hand. Place one-time wrappers. Oh, you have to put the mix inside the wraps. I've been wanting to make this too. And then you form it into like a moon shape, and then you stick it in the air fryer. I'll say, because you can't mix the whole stuff in here. Not that I know of. And yeah, this is all the meals that you can make. So yeah. It has been 30 minutes, and voila, they are done.